Oh, hello. Welcome back to another Middara game session. Alright, in my haste to end the encounter last time, I know I did not do my 2 lockets, so I already pulled out the items in advance here. We're going to pick up a shuriken on Zeke, and he's gonna just carry that on the side. And then we're also going to pick up another magic bottle for Nightingale Arsene. We're going to stash this Vitality Juice box. As for this bottle, I actually figured I want her to heal a little more on the active side, so we're going to switch this to with the free re-equip we get. This goes into the party stash, and then we need to do some end cleanup that I had not done from the last encounter. So, we finished an encounter, these tokens are gone. I really should just keep them on the side. We're going to be back at 3 SP. And, we should be generally good to go outside of that. She heals down to half of her max, so 7. And she's alive again, poor Nightingale. Honestly, in reflection, I think I got a little greedy jumping over the cliff. It's not... I mean, we rolled trash, I just needed a 5, but I'm gonna have to be more careful when it comes to jumping. I was thinking to myself, if Rook had fallen there, he's proven to be the best man for dealing with animates. In conjunction with Remi. So, if I had lost Rook, that last scenario would have been a lot different than it ended up being. I'm just gonna leave this over here because I'm probably making healing tokens. Anyway, so I think we're ready to go on to the next encounter with all that cleanup done and over with. We are going into the gloom last time on our Midaran adventures. For a recap, our rather impulsive party, Remi eavesdropped on Zeke's uncle, or whoever the heck the guy is, and then apparently there's a thief about. We don't know why, we don't know what they stole, we don't know their goals, we don't know anything, but we decided as impulsive kids, or actually, we don't know how old these people are since they don't age. But we decided we're bored. We're gonna try to help Zeke's uncle out and take the initiative to seek out a thief. So we've been trouncing around underground into the White Vaults, and as we go deeper into the White Vaults, we are greeted by a pair of cave sickles. Draw your weapons and prepare to fight when a rumbling causes you to pause. Further in the distance, something lumbers around a crumbling pillar. An Earth Loa emerges and stumbles towards you. With a quick glance to your comrades, you commit to the fight. So long as you can defeat these cave sickles before the horrible rock creature gets too close, you should be fine. Let's load this page. And this is all new stuff to me, so I'm going to spend some extra time reading because I need to learn and make sure I'm doing things right. See, we have a loot token. We have not much going on for Sickles of the Cave. And one of these guys with an exit setup. No special diagram additions as far as I can tell. Encon, win, get to the exit again, lose, we all die. Achievement, not quite unkillable. If the Earth Loa is defeated, read the following hidden text. The game developers they've challenged me now. Alright, I'll have to find out what's so special. This is a new monster to me, Earth Loa. Loot level is mundane, right? So we want to move this stuff further in the discard pile as we are still in an encounter. He has a tip on untouchable monsters. Let's see what he does and then I'll read the tip. I don't see continued on next page, so just to check. Alright. Nothing else. I just want to make sure I never miss anything. So the Earth Loa has hulking. Alright, let's go find out what hulking does. Hulking. Figures with this tag cannot be moved by opposing abilities or currents for any reason. Alright, well, I already was thinking of trying to push him with Rook, but I guess there goes that idea. So has hulking. Can't be moved by opposing... Wait, let me reread this. Opposing abilities or currents for any reason. Okay. So he's hulking. Is there an ally with an SOI without barrier? If true, another ally with an SOI gains barrier. Well, that's slightly annoying. He's passing out some armor. Is there more than one opponent adjacent? All adjacent opponents are dealt 2 magic damage and push 3 on a force of 11. So I have a chance to ignore this, but then it continues down. Can it move and attack an opponent within reach 2? Has a movement of 4. 5 armor, 8 defense, though, so that's not hard to hit. 20 HP. Definitely think it's killable. Can it move and attack an opponent within reach 2? Move to be within reach 2 to the nearest opponent, then make an attack within reach 2. Follow up with push 2 and inflict paralyze, force 11. Otherwise, move towards the nearest opponent. Ah, he's always approaching. Wait. Okay, so we've got an Earth Loa. I'm going to need to be extremely mindful of his push. So, that is something. And I need to be extremely mindful of his push. Positioning is going to be key here, and I can't push him. Look at this model, man. Look at this. He's got like a rock sword in his hand. He's a fucking earth golem. I guess Loas are elemental spirits. This is the reason why Rook became a knight. He saved Nightingale from one of these in the story portion of one of the chapters. So I think we're good to go. I did not see any special rules happening. I'll just double check. We are starting on the left, most squares. Alright, I'm gonna put my tank up here so she can actually get as close to the sickles as possible. We'll have Rook up there too, and then the other guys will lag behind. We'll put him here and her here. And then we shall see what happens. I think I am ready to go. Alright, let's shuffle this stuff. Oh yeah, so tip. Untouchable monsters. Right, I did not see an untouchable thing. So I'm gonna read this tip. Ah, okay, I see. So if it's hard to kill, they're just telling you. We have poison, and we have magic spam, and we have a really damn good tank, and even though he throws 2 teal, which is basically a Gevral down, his thing here is not that bad of an attack. Now, I think I might be able to fuck it up. But I might be getting ahead of myself. Let's go wipe out these cave sickles first. Did I shuffle this? Yes, I did, because it says the text goes first. Okay, so Rook. We're at 3. We have no start of turn effects except for this on the status phase, but I had healed to full. So, just want to make sure she's okay. I actually don't want to worry about her later. I need to take a moment to get this out of my pack. I'm gonna use the juice box on Nightingale for now, just to put her at a slightly better value. And then we're going to... Man, more and more, I'm thinking I'm gonna want somebody to have that adventurer's backpack next time I go shopping. Yeah, we're gonna move at least 6. Let me see here. I haven't thought about this. This guy moves 4, right? Every turn. Move towards the nearest opponent. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't say he ignores terrain for being hulking, so... And he has to get closer. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4 would be closer than 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we'll see. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see no reason not to come up to Sickle 1. My 7 move. And I'll just attack it since I can't push the Earth Loa. I'm not too worried about conserving SP. Alright, here we go again. 7-2 is a 9, so we're 1 over. And then we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. So I just smashed a... We just killed this thing with 6 HP. No trouble at all. Ah, and I'm pretty lucky. So Sickle 4 to 6 goes. He is over here. He's gonna do the 3rd action because no one's in range 4 of him, but he can move and then attack an opponent within range 4. So he's gonna move up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Towards the nearest opponent. I think he would come here and get in range of me, and then this Cave Sickle is going to do that thing he do. So there's 2 others in the hive mind. Thankfully, we killed one. I don't have to worry about them getting an extra attack. And a green dice and a black dice. Oh my god, they get so bad. This is quite a nasty ranged attack coming at us, but what can I do? I did not say I would dodge, so we'll save that for the next Sickle, I suppose. It's a 14, so 4 damage over, and 5, 6 for the 2 shields. But I think I just eat 6 flat out. Yes, sir. We'll heal it all over time. No worries. Alright, that was his turn. Remi. Gonna want to move. Move 6. I'm gonna do my free movement first and move forward. And then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna tap my shield to go here and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this way I'll be... I'll be closer than most, so actually I'm gonna greed for the loot now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna go here. So yeah, let's tap my shield, get the diagonal movement with the buckler, and I'll spend an SP to loot the treasure chest. Monsters might show up, I don't know, but I'm gonna grab it. Find a pile of treasure. 10 gold, 2 random consumables. I do have space, so that's good. I keep wondering if I'm actually shuffling because it ends up with juice box, but juice box is the most common item on that thing. But anyway, not bad. Some healing items, 10 extra bucks. Definitely appreciate 10 gold. And then I'll end my turn here. This is gone. Seems like no danger has befallen us. I think. Yeah, we'll just go Zeke next. So we're gonna want to move. Get that 7 movement in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna do 6 and abuse my reach to stab this cave sickle over the abyss. Every time, if the dice are in the white zone, they take my dice away. Great. Alright, roll the 7. It's not great. I can't re-roll anything, so we'll just leave it at that. That is Zeke's turn. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna leave that at that. I'm actually gonna use these throwing knives on a sickle, because I might be able to kill it if I get really lucky. I'm gonna throw at 4 to try and get rid of it. Alright, I did 2 damage to 4. Put these back in the thing. Could use my other pair. Oh, I don't have it equipped. Back. Alright, whatever. Nightingale. If you would, Nightingale. I'm gonna do a free re-equip action. I might throw both of these to try and kill that guy and then attack someone else. We'll do a free re-equip and do that. Actually, instead... No, I can't give items to others, I can only take. That's fine, yeah. I'll re-equip first, then I'm gonna move. We have 7 movement. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will come up here. I'm gonna throw a shuriken at this guy as well. Only need a 4. Hey! Okay, we kill Sickle. 4 with 7 ranged damage. That ends his swarm, so he will give me a treasure card. We have 8 more gold. Okay. Very good. Then I'm going to do Gore Shot. We're gonna Gore Shot Sickle number 2. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna Gore Shot Sickle 3 because 2 will attack our tank, which is what we want. So we're gonna do some cast magic. Hold a 2. So we have an 8. Gonna have Sickle do some conviction. Alright, it failed spectacularly. I'm actually going to hurt myself for 2 to do 4 damage to it. What am I hitting? 3. And then I'm gonna use my book to do Gore Shot again. Alright, this time we have a much more respectable 11. And he has only a 7, so we will kill that with 2 more damage that I don't need to buff. They just collided into each other. I think I'll move them to the side because I don't know. I know I could leave them on the card where the script goes, but gotta remember to hold our Alt if I'm reading. I could do it again, but I'm not in a hurry, so I will spend my 2 SP to flip this book back over. And then I think I'll end my turn. So, Sickle. He's no longer hive-minding. He will melee attack the adjacent opponent with his basic combat dice. So, got to 7. He misses Remi. I may as well spend 1 SP, do a counter with my Morning Star and... Shield. I get a 10. 10 on 8 is 2. And then we have 2 of these, so that should be 4. Yeah. We got 4 damage in on a counterattack. I think I can do anything else. That's good. Alright, and the Cave Sickle had missed me, so he has no follow-up attacks. Not bad. And then the Earth Loa. No one is in SOI 4 for him to give barrier, since it says another ally, not himself. And then no one's adjacent. He cannot move and attack someone within reach 2, so he's going to move towards the nearest opponent, and I do think he'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it is the same distance as here, but it's better for him to be there. Model is ridiculous looking. This has a giant earth sword, it's so cool. Okay. Oh yeah, Sickle 4 died. So let's shuffle, and then we'll get another round going. Yeah, as I get more and more familiar with this, I should be able to speed up the pacing. It really comes down to just doing math. Quite a fast-paced dungeon crawler, despite all the complexity. Anyway, Rook is up. So we're gonna heal 1, gain 3. I'm gonna move and attack with Rook. Everyone else can build up their stamina, and then I'm gonna have to prepare for fighting this thing as best as I can. One, 2. I'm just gonna move here and I'll attack this thing. My basic attack. Alright, I would like to hit, so we're gonna re-roll a dice. I'm gonna re-roll the 2. Yeah, roll, please. Don't just spin. Alright, we have a 6 and a 3, so 9. 1 over 8. 10, 11. Not 10, 11, excuse me. 2, 3. And then 4. 5. So actually do kill it. Oh, Sickle 2 is undamaged. He should have. Who did I counter? I countered the one that hit me. Yeah, it's 5. Sickle 2 should have 5. Did not kill Sickle 2. Alright. Sickle 2 is going to go. And he's going to actually attack Rook, since Rook went first. Here we go. Attacking Rook, I'm not gonna dodge. It's a 7, so it missed me. I can't counter. I can counter for free. I may as well counter for free. And maybe I can kill this thing. Nah, I missed again. So who's next? The Zekester. I was really hoping he would build up some stuff, but I mean, I guess I could just shoot the bug with Nightingale, but I may as well have her attack this thing once it's in range. Alright, we'll move and attack. I'm gonna go. Let me read this guy again. Alright, as long as someone is within reach 2 of him, and as long as we're not adjacent to him, he won't do his magic spell. At least more than one person adjacent. The only thing I have to do is make sure the tank can't get pushed, so we want someone to stay behind the tank, and if she does get pushed and paralyzed, which I know paralysis lasts only... they nerfed it. Yeah, you skip your turn, but you gain immunity to paralyze for the rest of the encounter. Like, literally for the rest of the encounter. You can only be paralyzed once per encounter. I feel like, in all honesty, For game balance, I like that because people were cremating bosses with paralysis spam. But I think the name should be changed to stun. I think stun would work better. You get stunned once and then you have stun immunity. I don't know, that's a technicality. Paralysis in RPG and in board game form, paralysis is always one of the strongest status effects you can do. Anyway, I think we can safely have Remi tank all day as long as she doesn't get bullied too hard. But right, what was I doing? I'm supposed to move and attack. I'm thinking of positioning. If the dude is within like 2 spaces of Remi, he may direct his attack at Zeke. Because he's always gonna like move back, so Remi, we have to keep moving forward, basically. Let me stay here. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. I was gonna wait here, but I better not. We're gonna attack the cave sickle. We got 2 white dices. Alright, we have a 10, so that's 2 damage, plus the symbols, that's 4 damage, 5 damage for the starburst. So we kill him now. Definitely kill him. And we get 1 more loot for finishing a swarm. Plus 5. I'll do 10 minus 2. Get the 8. Okay, that cleans him up. So, no problem. Earth Loa. Let's see here. He has no allies near him, and no one's adjacent. And can he move forward and reach? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. No, he cannot, so he's just gonna move forward to the closest person. Alright, then we have Remi. So, Remi, we're gonna activate our mend. I'm gonna get my tokens. And, use this counter here. I'm going to do a free movement. Right here. What are the particulars on this? Move and attack an opponent within reach 2. Move to be within reach 2 of the nearest opponent. Then make an attack within reach 2 and inflict. So the attack actually targets whoever he can see. So if I stand here, I should get closer. This way he'll be here. But I'm trying to think. I want to be in a position where if I get pushed by him. Is this a push 2? Like if I fail this skill check? Push 2, yeah. I'll take 1 damage for being unable to make the space. But I will be stopped. I could just stand next to him now. If I stand next to him now, he's guaranteed to back up. That's the fastest way. And then the push 2 won't matter. I'll be safe. So maybe I'll just stand next to him. And we can magic spam him. Alright, I'm gonna stand next to him for 1. One movement instead of my free movement, because I couldn't just get to him. I forget where I was. If I was 2 spaces away, I could use my shield and my free movement to get there. Where was she? I'm not gonna go back. I'll use the movement. And what I'm gonna do is actually use another SP. We're gonna reconfigure our items so I can carry the healing items. And I guess this magic bomb. I can use the plank. The plank can reduce 2 damage if I needed to. So, we'll do that. And that'll be my turn. I'm not gonna attack it. Nightingale. Alright, we just want to be within range 4. So this 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to be here. Move here. I'm just gonna stay here. Back pretty far. Actually, I'll just move. If I'm over the pit, I'm probably going to be in trouble if some shenanigans happen. Tell you what, we'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This way, if shenanigans happen and I get targeted, I will hit the wall and take 1 damage, but I won't die. We'll stand here. Do a little gore shot action. Alright. 3 and 6 is 9. His conviction is 2 white. It's not bad. And he actually convicted my gore shot, so that is just as well. I'm gonna cast gore shot again. I may as well double cast until I start weakening him. Alright, so we have another 9 with that 3. Okay, he has a 10, so I failed. I'm gonna flip my book over with this. And then I'll end my turn. Let's shuffle. Oh! Well, well, well. I would like to try to poison him. But let's get greedy here. Zeke is first. We're gonna move. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then I will attack reach 2. I do not lose an attack for this because I can choose... Oh, I guess at the angle. Because it's not a dead corner, I don't pick which side. I think I have to choose this tile. Let me check line of sight rules again for dual tile checking. Just to make sure. I'm gonna have this whole book memorized one of these days. Hold up. I don't know where line of sight is. Oh, based index. What knowledge do you have? I wish they had a better line of sight example. Like, what if the target is, say, here instead of directly up above? I'm pretty sure there was an example. What is the flanking example? Let's look. Where's ranged? Ranged attack might have it covered. Oh, where's determining range? I don't know. And they're like, Just the whole attack action, determining range. I guess this is the only thing I can use to determine it. -1 to the attack roll from hindering terrain and allies does not stack with itself, meaning if you make an attack with one or more allies or spaces of hindering terrain, you'll never incur a negative greater than -1. That's good to know. I was not aware of that. I thought that did stack. Wait, doesn't this contradict this line here? Hold up. If you make an attack roll through an ally and hindering terrain, you'll have a -2 to the attack roll. -1 to the attack roll from hindering terrain and allies does not stack. Oh, with itself. I see. Right, so if you attack through 2 allies or 2+ spaces of hindering terrain, it would only be -1. I understand. I'm gonna say that the person, because I can't find a good example for this, which I thought there was a good example, but I'm gonna say she is blocking my line of sight from there. What I can do is stand here instead, and then she's not, so I'm gonna stand here instead to not have -1 penalty, and then we will attack. Sorry if you're taking so long. I do roll 8, 9, so we do successfully hit. I do no damage because he has like 5 armor. Yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3. He's got 2 more armor for me to go over. This is physical damage, so it hits the armor. But I get an opportunity to poison, which is what I want. So he has to make a conviction check and beat whatever my thing is. Which he does. He's doing really good on conviction checks. So we'll try again next turn. Remi's go. In all honesty, I might just stand here. Because I absolutely have no reason to hit him. I will heal Nightingale. For 6. And then I'm just going to stand here and stare the monster's eyes, brave as can be with my little buckler ready to receive the weight of that giant sword of earth. Nightingale, meanwhile, excuse me, I want Nightingale to be the wall in case shit goes south, so I want her to build up SP as well. I'm gonna stand here and cast magic. We're gonna cast magic till it works. Eventually it'll work, right? Here we go, we got 6 and 6, it's 12. Surely he won't beat a 12. Hey, okay, that's 2 damage. I'm gonna take 2 and make it 4 damage, because he doesn't heal, as far as I'm aware. Then we're gonna repeat the spell. So, we're gonna cast Gore Shot again. Alright, that's a 7. Conviction says that's not okay. And I'm gonna repeat Gore Shot again. Okay, that's also a 7. And then Survey says he beats a 7, so we won't worry about that. I'll unflip one of the books, save my other SP. I'll do a free rearrange of items and just carry this on me. These weapon straps are handy. And then I'm gonna chill. That's how I do. Rook. Since this lady is adjacent, we're gonna give Rook the opportunity to build up. I guess Rook and Remi can alternate depending on who needs it. I'm gonna move 1. 1, 2, 3. I'll be here for the 1. Wait, Zeke is in range too, so Zeke's gonna get hit anyway. I'll just stand here. I'll be ready to charge in next turn. Do that. This guy is going to likely back up if he targets who I want, which he should. Oh no, he won't. I should have... Right, I had to move in range with Zeke. In the future, I should have an extra SP so I can, like, get out of range. That's okay. Zeke's gonna have to take one for the team. I'm gonna end with Rook's turn. We're just gonna chill. And, let the Earth Loa do his thing, so... Can it move and attack an opponent within reach 2? He will move to be within reach 2 of the nearest opponent. Ah, that's good. So he'll actually attack Remi because he has to back up to abide by that. And then he's going to attack. I will dodge, of course. Believe I can. Yes, we shall do a dodge. So we'll make ourselves harder to hit, and we have 2 extra shields, so we're at 12 defense to his. He fails to hit me, so I don't have to worry about his attack following up. In a perfect world where I roll the absolute highest dice numbers, I get through his armor, so I'll spend an SP to counter. You know what? I should give the venom to her for this scenario. I think I might do that. I can't counter. He's at reach. Never mind. I can't reach him. So she shouldn't have the venom. She wouldn't get an opportunity to use it except for melee. Alright, anyway. I was just thinking. Oh, no follow-up for this, so I don't have to worry about that. Let's have a new turn. Okay, Remi is first. Since Remi is first, Remi will be the target. So I can go back and forth for pulling this guy. What I'm going to do is use my free movement to go back here. We get 3 SP, of course, and untap. And we're going to just chill. And then Zeke is going to gain 3 SP, and he's just going to hold it. And then the Earth Loa is going to go, so move to be within reach of the nearest target and make an attack. I will dodge this attack. A good dodge, 14. What does he get? He does not get a 14, so he does miss. And I can't counter, do anything, so I'm just gonna sit here and laugh. And laugh and laugh and laugh. Alright, Rook is at 5. Kind of curious how much damage Rook can pull off, but if I move in to attack with Rook, I ruin what is a very good setup here. So what I'm gonna do is just leave Rook where he is. He's just gonna chill. This might be a little slow, but we can definitely game this guy to our advantage. Nightingale, we're gonna gain 3. We're gonna do Gore Shot for the round. Okay, get a 6, 12. Conviction check. Oh, damn it. Got 13. I will try to do that spell again. Alright, we get a 2, so that's 8. Conviction check. That's 9. He is not happy with that. We're gonna unflip my books, and then I'm just gonna chill. Yeah. And that's the end of that turn. We're gonna be doing this for a while. Oh, good. Nightingale's turn. We're gonna do Gore Shot. Alright, 6. That's a 12. Earth Loa. Survey says we got him. I'm gonna pay 2 life to do 4. And then I will flip book. Let's do it again. Alright, 6. That's a 12. And then conviction. Alright, we got him. We're gonna pay 2 life to do 4 more. I can't wait until our spells are stronger. And then we're gonna do it again. Conviction or spell cast. Alright, it's a 1. We got a 7. Okay, he blocks that one. We're gonna spend 2 to unflip 1 book, and then we're gonna chill. I like my build. Earth Loa, targeting, what's her name? Actually, hold up. This thing, so how does this work? This is true, right? Move and attack, move to be within reach 2 of the nearest opponent. He's already in reach 2 of the nearest opponent, but Zeke is now an option this time. In fact, Zeke is the target because Zeke is in range. So can we dodge? We can dodge. Let's dodge with Zeke. Zeke goes first. This is the one downside of this plan. Zeke is vulnerable when Remi's not faster. The AI system is actually good for picking initiative and initiative being random. Okay, I got 1, so we're at 11 defense. Let's hope he rolls low. That is not low. Okay, we have a 16. What can we do about a 16? Oh, crap. I didn't say I used this, so I guess I'm taking the hit. I don't think I can do anything. Alright, he hit me for 5. And then it's 1 for everything. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He hit me for 11 damage. Alright, we're at 13. We have 2 HP. And now he's going to do his follow-up. So it is a Force 11. We have to conviction that. I do get a white dice for my conviction. But I fail, so I will be pushed 2. It'll be 1, and then I hit the wall. I take 1 irreducible damage, but I'm still alive. Ow. And then, I'm paralyzed. So, paralyzed until the start of my whole next activation. I can't do anything. And then I'll be immune to paralysis for the rest of the match. Okay, that's not so bad besides the fact that I'm dying. Rook. Since that occurred, I'm actually gonna send Rook in this turn, so let's go. Rook, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I'm over here. And we'll do melee attack with Rook. Let's see how this goes. Need high numbers. Alright, do I do any damage with this? I could save my reroll for a second attack. 7 and 4 is 11. And then every one thing is +1. So it's 11 over 8. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for that, minus 5. So I did 5 damage, very respectable. Keep that. He's actually almost dead. I will use my once per encounter. Go. Attack. Alright. This is a terrible attack, so I'll just let that whiff overall. And then we'll attack one more time. This is much nicer. May as well use that reroll now. Oh, baby. I'm pretty sure it's dead. Then we got 7 and 6, which is 13 from 8. That's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because I don't know how to math. 5. So that's all his armor, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more damage, 9 more damage. With the passive, we completely crush an Earth Loa. Do I get a monster loot? I forget if I already drew that. Oh. Oh! I didn't know it shuffles. Well, you know, that's fine too. I'm gonna start hitting the button instead of just drawing from the top. 5, 6, 7. I don't know if you're supposed to shuffle when you draw, but hey, it's a random card. I bet that monster loot was on the top. Anyway, he's dead. Zeke is almost dead. I may as well save this token for the next encounter. I don't know if there's another one, but there probably is. Yeah, that was his turn. So Zeke, he's paralyzed. He's now immune to paralysis. I won't pull the token out since that's that. It does not stop us from gaining SP though. I don't think. Let me read the exact rules on the paralysis effect. It's not listed here. It's because it's the token. The exact rules are what you see on the token. I'm pretty sure we still gain SP. I just can't do anything. Right. And now we have immunity to paralyze. That's fine. Right, so our turn skipped. Remi gets to go. I will move... Well, first on exhaust. Do the free movement. I will move forward 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll use 2 SP. We'll make it to the exit. Easy. Earth Loa is not so bad. Alright, reward. Each party member gains 1 XP. Then restore, adventurers. Continue to getting cocky. Page 35. That's actually backwards one. We actually do have a heal. Full heal, so that's nice. We're gonna restore, which means this is gone, this is gone. Getting restored. This means I get an opportunity to exchange items with the team, but I think I can't interact with the pack of items. I'm glad we're getting cocky. I mean, we should be getting cocky. So far in this game, it seems like you're either doing really well, and then bam, you get hit by one insane dice roll of the enemy and get bowled over by the truck that fucking nails your ass. Alright, everything's untapped, everything's restored. Let us clear this page. Let us wait for it to load. Take a sip. Can delete these cave sickle things. Seems like nothing's in the trash bag, strangely enough. So, getting cocky. I'll put it on the thing because the girl ad-libs so much. Love it or hate it. We'll hear what she has to say. Playlist. Define getting cocky. There we go.
Getting cocky. I told you guys we were ready for this. Nightingale pushed aside the last of the monstrous remains. The sound of strange footfalls now moved away from them. We're like the best team ever. Pretty sure that deserves a round of high fives. Nobody mocked her enthusiasm this time. Expressions of satisfaction and pride were universal. Even Rook looked proud. I guess you were right, Nightingale. This wasn't such a bad idea after all. Remi returned Nightingale's grin. We're gonna be heroes.
Alright, continue to a strange pedestal. Before we get ahead of ourselves, we have an achievement. Not quite unkillable, it's actually very killable. The Earth Loa crumbles before your might. Gain one random mundane relic. Nice. We also get 2 consumables for our end of encounter thing, so let's do that first. 1, 2. Alright. And we'll do it in this order. Left, right of drawing. So he's got that. She's got this. I'll check for rearranging the packs in a moment. We get a random mundane relic. So let's blindfold. And boop. Person who killed it was Rook, so Rook can have this. It is a wand of missiles. Combo spellcraft. Once per encounter, when choosing the targets of a spell, you can increase your SOI by +2. This is also double-sided. It is a weapon. If you want it to be, you can tap to exhaust this, and when choosing the targets of a spell, increase your SOI by +2. This also gives me the ability to benefit from the books and stuff if I use it as a weapon. I definitely want her to have it, and since she gets a free re-equip, I can spend time re-equipping it. Oh yes, let me read the rules on restoration. Let's get the music back. Where's restoring adventures? I don't think flip cards flip on restore. But, I forget. You do unexhaust and unflip all cards. Okay. And we may trade items as if they were adjacent and use the re-equip action. Okay, this is the only way we unflip cards. Cool. So, yeah, let me get rid of the music player for a second. Before I move on, since we're in break time, we want to unflip this. I'm going to trade this to her. I'll leave it as a relic for now, but instead of the once... I guess I could do it once per encounter and then flip it for a re-equip and put it in my hand if I want to increase my range sometime. It'll be a niche, but that's fine. Gain 1 SP. Yes, I would like to empty my inventory a tad because I'm like generating stuff for all these encounters. Let's give Rook some items. Let him carry this, and then put these in his storage. I'll hold on to the Sickle Venom. Quite honestly, I'm starting to think Rook should have this. Like, the original idea I had for Zeke to hold the Sickle Venom is that he can apply poison to various things. But Rook just seems to hit more often. Rook also has a reroll to hit. I'll keep it on him for now. That's fine. Let's see. Let's get this back on. Oh yeah, I wasn't supposed to get random consumables. I can choose the consumables I want. Oh well, I'll just keep the 2 that I got. God, we get to pick and choose, man. That's the power of our thing. I would have got some throwing knives back. I'm gonna trade this Vitality Juice box over to her. And then I will keep this, and we'll put this here. Alright, that's some good trading, I think. Hmm. He kind of wants this, but I also want my tank to, Well, you know what? I call her a tank, and funnily enough, because the monster, so far, the Water Loa, the magic monster that we know of, targets the person with the weakest convictions. So if I want her to tank magic too, I should probably lower her convictions to 2 purple. And give this to, what's his name? Nah, it's okay. I think Zeke tanking it, because Zeke is recovering on the side, is a good thing. Although, quite honestly, well, not Zeke, Rook. I think Zeke needs the heal. But I'll keep the reduced physical damage. It's gonna save my life one of these days. Oh yeah, achievement, not quite unkillable. So when you get an achievement, you can mark it in the adventure sheet, I believe, so that we can remember what we've done. Not quite unkillable. We killed the Earth Loa. Yeah, something happened, man. Oh man, this is exciting. What are we going to? A strange pedestal. Let's pause that music. And let's get ready for story time. Don't know how long this is from here on out. Too far? Strange pedestal.
A strange pedestal. Nightingale gingerly picked her way through the hall, being careful not to make a sound. A pair of massive double doors blocked the way, made of wood so old it seemed halfway petrified. Someone was shouting from within. Nightingale felt lucky that the intruder was making enough of a racket to find in the dim light. Nightingale was certain it was the thief. Who else would be down in the vaults? She peeked through the partly open double doors and leaned around the edge of the doorway so she wouldn't alert the thief to her presence. Upon seeing what was in the room, Nightingale immediately froze. She fought back the urge to scream, which turned halfway into a gag as she stared at the abomination that filled the center of the room. It looked like a head 30 feet tall with skin rotting and pale. Strands of matted, oily hair clung to its clammy flesh, and grasping limbs sprouted from random points along the scalp. They were like dozens of thick arms and fingers that writhed like a centipede that had been cut in half with a shovel.
Just want to say, this is some Kingdom Death Monster shit right here. What the fuck? Got like mouths on these fingers. Hey, anyway.
The room was large and mostly devoid of furnishings, except for some sort of pedestal that sat on the far side of the grotesque monstrosity.
I actually lost where the hell we are because of her ad-libbing. Oh, keep the book around here. I'll stop pausing. Sorry for the interruptions.
I have the right of salvage.
There
The
we
man
go.
stood with his back to her, separating her from the monster. Nightingale mused that this must be the thief. He was attempting to claim whatever was on the pedestal behind the horrible creature. He sounded far more confident than she would have been. You can't stop me. The creature laughed, throwing back a jaw that hinged open to reveal more appendages. Every pale digit had become a row of glittering teeth. It wasn't laughter as ever Nightingale had known it before. It was like the last breath of the dying, shifted octaves lower and much louder. I am Hografar, Lord of the Vaults. I have right to every treasure here. Not this one, the thief said, stepping forward. Curiosity fought against her fear, and Nightingale moved closer to get a better look at what the thief was trying to steal. Atop the pedestal, she could see a rather benign-looking shard of rock. Its faint glow reflected a red hue from the cushion it was on. It looked as if it was placed deliberately, but by whom she didn't know. You have no use for such an artifact, the thief started yelling now. Let me pass, and I'll make it worth your while. The creature Hographer furrowed its obscene brow as if contemplating the offer. Then something tumbled across the ground. Nightingale accidentally kicked a stone across the floor, and the creature looked in her direction, its single gigantic eye fixing on her. Her heart seized in her chest as the monster's apparent amusement turned to anger. Coward! You couldn't face me alone? This thief is less than a worm. It raised one of its massive tooth-filled mouths at the end of an elongated finger as thick as Rook's torso. Nightingale tensed. Get back! Her shout came too late. There was a harsh tearing sound like she might have heard in a butcher's shop as Hographer ripped open the man's belly. Blood sprayed through the air with an audible gurgle. The thief fell. No! Her body moved on instinct, and before she knew what was happening, she was sprinting towards his limp figure. Get away from him! Her friends jumped into action as well. She felt a surge of pride filling her, knowing that she hadn't been abandoned. The monster swept aside their blows like it might an annoying insect. Their attack slid like water from its hide without effect. Rook went slamming backward as a massive finger knocked the air from his lungs and sent him tripping over himself. Remi and Zeke weren't far behind, each sent flying with casual ease. Nightingale charged, leaping with her weapon outstretched, but it caught her in midair with a swipe, smacking her across the middle and tossing her through the air like a child's toy. She was only dimly aware of striking the ground. Her weapon was sent spinning out of her grip as she slid to a stop. Behind her, the sound of cruel laughter echoed through the chamber. Nightingale didn't lie still for very long. She felt her tail twitch, her limbs spasming one at a time as she regained control. Gurgling breaths came from somewhere so close she could almost feel the heat. Nightingale fought the pain, forcing herself to sit up. The world was still spinning, but it was clear enough to see what had happened. The monstrous Hographer knocked her towards the injured thief. There was more blood than Nightingale had ever seen in her life. It pooled on the ground around him. The torn threads of his shirt mixed freely with the wound. For a moment, time stood still as she tried to process the image. She crawled weakly forward along the ground, reaching the thief. "I'm coming," she squeaked, her voice coming out in a slur. She clawed her way through the grime, fumbling through her gear with one shaking hand. "Damn you! Get away from me!" He coughed, blood pouring from his lips as he tried to shove her vainly away with one hand. "Get away!" Nightingale ignored him. The man was obviously in shock. He didn't know what he was saying, and there was no chance she would listen. "I'll stop the bleeding or something." She searched desperately for the source of the blood pooling from his wound. She pushed but couldn't manage enough pressure to do anything but cover her hands in warm, thick fluid. The man's skin was pale, his insides open and exposed. Every second brought another pulse of blood, some splattering on her bare skin. Get away!" The man's breathing was slowing to a dull rattle. He pushed on one of her legs, but the gesture was as futile as her attempt to stem the blood. "I'll help you," she insisted again, leaning closer. There was probably healing magic for a wound this terrible, magic that someone who'd actually earned a spot in the Demiurge would know. "Malum." The word came out in a hoarse rattle, bubbles foaming at the thief's mouth as he gasped. He suddenly shook one last time, then finally fell still. Nightingale watched him die. There was a moment of silence. She didn't notice that her friends were still stunned from their blows. She didn't think about the horrible monster behind her. Nothing made sense as she stared down at the body. Then something started to hiss and bubble in front of her. The corpse wasn't still. Something darker than blood seemed to be leaking from his face. Nightingale pushed away from him, blood still coating her arms and soaking into her clothes. A few moments proved the tar-like ooze was not leaking. It was clawing its way out, pouring out of the man's mouth and piling up atop him. It surged from behind his eyes, out his ears, and out the pores in his skin. She only had a second to see it. The black mass sloshed about within itself, and with each movement, strange lights flickered from within. It had dozens of eyes, no two alike in size or shape. They seemed to move freely, pointing directly at objects instead of pivoting to face them. Within a second, they were all pointing at her. Nightingale tried to scream as the thing surged towards her. She put her arms up, but it didn't hinder the ooze at all. It had no limbs, yet the whole thing latched onto her face like the malicious pseudopod of a feeding amoeba. Fierce cold boiled at her skin where it touched, so cold it burned. Her scream choked in her throat as the monster pried her jaws open wider, filling her mouth. The seeping tar...
We got some symbiote shit going on here.
Sucked into her eyes, and she could feel the pressure of it pushing into her skull. The pain was overwhelming, screaming throughout her body. The darkness consumed her vision and her mind until consciousness faded. Rook moaned. Despite the pain making every movement stiff, he knew he had to act. The creature was still here, and it could easily kill him. He had to get up. He had to help his friends. He rose, grunting. In the darkness, his surroundings seemed to blur, yet one shape formed before the others. It was Hographer, looming in the murky shadows. Far worse, it was holding Nightingale in the air by one of her horns. Rook couldn't speak, instead fumbling for his weapon. He didn't dare do anything sudden, lest he startle the monster into killing his friend. Hographer held Nightingale very near between two grotesque fingers, inspecting her closely. "Where did you go? Acquired a new host? Perhaps trying to hide inside of another body?" It was searching Nightingale's face with a massive eye. Rook tensed, readying for a vain attempt at an attack. After a few seconds, the monster started laughing again, and Nightingale shook vigorously in its grasp. "Damned fool," Hographer called, voice so loud that the ground seemed to shake. "She just saved my life from that parasite." Hographer seemed to be smiling through the appendages leaking from its mouth. Rook had no time for rational thought. He charged, crossing the room far faster than his size made him look capable of, lifting a massive weapon in both hands. Hographer didn't see him coming, nor did it turn towards the sound of Rook's pounding steps. Rook struck as hard as he could, aiming straight for the joint on one of the creature's fingers. The half-rotten flesh parted, spraying foul-smelling slime. Hographer screamed, its voice sounding continually shriller as it went. Nightingale landed with a sick-sounding thump at Rook's feet. Rook didn't slow as he scooped her into his arms, leaning towards the smallest, shortest door in the room. "Follow me," Rook bellowed towards Zeke and Remi. Despite their recent beating, the two were both on their feet and weren't far behind him. They ran for their lives. Rook couldn't have said where he went. At each fork and junction, he picked a direction at random, so long as the way through looked clear. The ground shook behind them, and Hographer's terrible screeching still sounded in his ears. Rook ran until his guts started to ache, oblivious to anything but the placement of his feet and Nightingale in his arms. The sound of pursuit faded to a distant echo, and only then they could stop. Rook dropped to his knees, lowering Nightingale to the ground in front of him. Zeke was first to speak, his voice so casual it sounded forced. "Did either of you catch the way we came?" No." Remi dropped to the ground beside Rook, nudging at Nightingale's cheek with one hand. To Rook's great surprise, Nightingale started coughing. She whimpered like an injured animal. Her eyes opened, and for a quick instant they seemed cloudy. "What happened?" she moaned. "Are you all right?" Rook asked, his voice low. "Are you kidding?" Nightingale shook her head once as though trying to shake water out of her ears. "What the hell was on that pedestal that was worth fighting a monster like that? And what was that horrific dark creature that came out of the dead thief?" Everyone gave her a strange look before Rook asked, "Something came out of the thief? What do you mean something came out of the thief? I only saw the giant head Hographer." Nightingale shook her head trying to remember, but it was all a blur. "Oh God, I'm not sure." "Yeah, well, we have bigger problems to worry about now." Zeke gestured around the little room, some kind of old storage area off the main hall by the look of it. "We're lost. I was trying to keep track of where we went, but I don't have a goddamn clue anymore. That thing..." "We get it," Remi sighed. This place goes down as deep as the towers go high. That's what they say. Thousands and thousands of rooms, and at least one of them has a gigantic monster that's probably looking for us right now." Zeke offered Nightingale his hand and helped her stand. She swayed on her feet, but only a little. "You've got any smart ideas, Rook?" Zeke pulled what looked like his last crumpled cigarette out. Rook sighed. "I've got one idea, but you guys have to be cool about it. Nobody freak out." "Nobody freak out?" Nightingale still looked drained, but there were a few bright twinges around her cheeks. "You serious, Rook? After meeting... what did it call itself? Hographer?" "Okay, right." He reached up to his neck and removed the amulet that hung there. "Suri?" He didn't say it so much as he thought it, calling out through the strange amulet with focused will to a place he never should have touched. "Yes, Rook?" As usual, the answering voice came almost instantly, created from nothing, yet audible by everyone nearby. "You sound upset." "I am," Rook said to the empty air all around them. "Do you have the strength to manifest now?" The reply came with a little reproach. "There are 3 others in the room with you. When we first spoke, I told you my kind was forbidden in your world, and both of us would be in great danger if your kind learned of our friendship." Rook glanced once at each of his friends in turn, Nightingale still looking like she'd been wrung out, Zeke forcing himself to be calm, and Remy was shaking with nervous fear. He sighed. I trust them, Suri. We need your help. As you wish. Light began to glow from the amulet, a magenta that overwhelmed the gloom and grew bright enough to radiate through the open doorways around them. Rook was numb to the wonder by now, though he couldn't miss the shocked expressions his friends had as the light grew so bright it seemed to take solid form. Rook knew little of Suri. Every time they had been together, she had taken this shape, greenish and vaguely human, with a body of radiant energy that blurred into swirling light the lower you looked. Her hair was electric blue and waved as though in an invisible wind. Whoa! Zeke's cigarette hung limply from his mouth as his eyes widened. Hi! Suri bounced on nothing, though she never got more than a few feet from Rook. The amulet continued to glow, though it had dimmed down to something far more tolerable. Everybody, this is Suri. Rook waved towards his friends as he introduced them. The spirit darted, a little nearer to each one as he named them, examining each from head to foot. She didn't offer to shake hands or anything else similarly polite. How did... Rook cut Zeke off with a tired gesture. Later, he turned, fixing his eyes on the glowing spirit. Suri, we're completely lost down here. Can you help us find a way out? Remi gasped as Suri vanished. Did she just leave us? She said with a concerned look. Rook shook his head. It's complicated to explain. If she left us, the amulet wouldn't be glowing. Before he could explain further, Suri returned in a bright flash of purple light. I found the way, Suri grinned, pointing with one hand at a nearby open door. A glowing trail formed in that direction. Best get moving.
Continue to A Way
Out.
Out, which is a story. This is Dark Passenger. Dark Passenger. Wait, what page am I going to? Am we going backwards? 32. We're going backwards. So let's go to 32. A Way Out. Okay, this was right after that. Excuse me.
Your friends are good at this. Suri glided along in front of Rook as they made their way through the ruined halls. It seemed the closer they were to the surface, the more it crumbled away, eaten by time and air, and corroded into crumbling metal or chalk-like rock. Yeah, Rook still had a weapon within reach if he needed it, but wasn't holding it ready anymore. So far, they had managed to avoid anything that might try to stop them from leaving the vaults. In fact, they saw nothing more dangerous than occasional stray vermin. It seemed the lesser creatures of the upper vault had learned to stay away, probably due to Hographar's nearby presence. Thanks for the directions. We'll have to bring a map next time we go exploring, Remi said. Maybe next time we can pick somewhere safer to adventure. We could help innkeepers deal with the rats in their basements, maybe. Inquiry? Suri didn't meet Remi's eyes so much as she watched her wings. Do the mortals of this realm routinely invoke the help of skilled professionals to get them out of minor problems they could have solved on their own? Wouldn't involving experienced instituted graduates be an unwise investment of your time? No, Zeke grunted. On Earth they did. People on Middara usually have more sense. Zeke left a trail of smoke behind him. Rook wondered where this new cigarette had come from, but took it as a good sign. They were recovering from their experience, except maybe Nightingale. Her skin was strangely pale, and she took every spare moment to rest that she could. Suri slowed a little as she considered Zeke's words, then shrugged. It was one of the first gestures she had learned to imitate, though Rook still wasn't sure if it meant the same thing to her. This is the way out. The security bar on the other side is unlocked, so you should be able to open it. She gestured at a strange section of wall where intricate metal clamps anchored to a round metal door. There had been words written here once, but Rook couldn't make them out anymore. They pushed together, and the rusting door squeaked slowly open, letting them out into the ground surrounding the white spires. Zeke led the group towards his family manor, and nearly 20 minutes later they had arrived at the Zhang house, a large white building Zeke called home.
Large? The stuttering that this thing does. Alright, continue to A Dark Passenger. I didn't read that. It was page 40. We're back here. Okay, so we've got this parasite thing, and Our Nightingale girl. I think it should auto go to Dark Passenger, right?
A dark passenger. Nightingale collapsed onto the ground, pressing her face against it for a few seconds. She was fairly certain she'd never been happier to be away from adventure in her life. We made it! Thank God! She let out an exhausted sigh. Behind her, Suri's voice was barely a whisper. What is this place? It seems to be humming with magical energy. Zeke moved to lock the door behind them with a loud click, then turned toward Suri. My family uses it as a dorm for their kids while they attend the Institute. I've been told it was already built into the foundation of the rock when this land was claimed. It's supposed to have various magical enchantments to keep us safe. It seems it just might. Suri floated gently past Nightingale, looking between each of Rook's friends. It was very nice to meet you all. I don't think I've ever seen so much of your world at once. Perhaps it will happen again. Maybe, Zeke began, but the spirit...
Hold up. I like this line much better. Look at this. It's nice to meet you, or do not share anything about the experiences tonight, or we will likely all die violently. Goodbye.
Spirit didn't linger to hear it. There was a faint pop and a
This
flash
is
of
way
purple
better
light. The
dialogue.
place she'd been was empty, and Rook's amulet ceased to glow. Sorry about that. Suri's a little oblivious to common courtesy. Rook offered his hand to Nightingale. Are you all right? Yeah. Nightingale took the offered hand, rising again. It was more than a little strain on her body, but she managed not to sway. I think I just need some rest. We should visit the castle first. Rook watched her, looking concerned. Zeke and Remi were watching her too. Your father has excellent doctors. After what happened... Nothing happened! Nightingale found herself tensing, her tail snapping once behind her. Even as she said it, she saw a brief image of black ichor boiling from the dead thief's mouth. Really? You mentioned that something had come out of the thief. Some kind of dark creature? Rook looked from Remi to Zeke. Did either of you see what happened to Nightingale? Nah. Zeke looked down, frowning. After that thing knocked me back, it gets a little fuzzy. Remi nodded. My dumb wings were in the way. I didn't get up again until I heard her scream. Nightingale could only remember a strange amorphous shape sprouting towards her after she tried to save the dying thief. She shivered, glancing down at the ruins of her dress. It was brown and crusty with dirt and dried blood. She tried to push the image from her mind. That thing! It called itself Hografar, right? You must have hit me first, that's all. You're fine, I'm fine. She was shaking her head. How about we don't go anywhere near my father tonight, Rook? Remember, he's the reason I went into the damn vaults in the first place. All right, Rook sighed. I'm not sure where else we would go, though. You could crash here. Zeke gestured at the living room with a lit cigarette. We've got this whole mansion and everything. Might as well use a few of the extra rooms. You too, Remi. After a night like this, you probably need as much sleep as the rest of us. Perfect, Nightingale nodded, forcing more enthusiasm into the response than she really felt. The next hour passed in a blur to Nightingale. She ducked away first to wash off all the blood and change into clean clothes. After that, she ate some leftover soup as Zeke prepared a few spare rooms for their use. Nightingale fell asleep nearly instantly. However, it was not a restful night. Nightingale dreamed of the white vaults where the floor stretched away to an endless darkness, and an alien monstrosity of writhing limbs guarded something she wanted. Hografar was there, its proportions even more hideous than she remembered. The shadows of its disparate parts writhed, all reaching for her. Nightingale watched herself try in vain to save the thief, watched him die before her eyes. Something even worse than the freakish Hografar poured from the corpse and latched onto her face. Its body a hideous mass of swirling eyes and mouths and teeth. Eventually, she saw herself collapse, overwhelmed by the agony she remembered quite well. Her dream self's eyes opened, staring at her. There was something dark behind them, an alien intelligence anathema to life as she knew it. Nightingale woke with a start, shooting up right in the gigantic four-poster. The early light of dawn streamed in from one window, filling the room with its glow. Something reached for her shoulder, blocking out the light. Nightingale jerked violently away, twisting off the bed and landing with a pained thump on the floor. She came back up a second later, panting with her weapon in hand, all trace of drowsiness gone. There was nothing there. Nightingale took a deep breath to calm herself. She set her weapon down finally, then made her way downstairs. The kitchen was busy. though not with servants or staff. Instead, she was more than a little surprised to see Remi, Rook, and Zeke already waiting. "Hey, Knight." Zeke raised a spatula in mock salute. "Feeling better?" "Yeah." Nightingale didn't meet his eyes as she lied, looking around at the mess. Eggs and flour were everywhere, along with other stains she couldn't easily identify. "Did something blow up?" "Yes," Zeke began. "No." Remi and Rick answered at exactly the same time, both looking abashed. Rick glared once at Remi before continuing. "We had some disagreement about whether animism could be used to make an omelet." Remi wiped a sheen of slime away from her face with a cloth, then tossed it onto the counter beside her. "Turns out it wasn't a good idea." Zeke scooped a fresh and completely inanimate omelet out of a pan and onto a waiting plate. "After yesterday, we weren't going to get you until everything was ready. Did the explosion wake you?" "Nah," Nightingale grinned.
Sorry for
She
the
helped straighten
squeaking.
things up. Then the four of them sat down to eat. It was only after she had eaten her portion and the scraps left over from everyone else that Nightingale realized just how hungry she'd been. As they were finishing up, someone knocked on the door, and Zeke left to deal with it. He returned a moment later with a familiar figure just behind him. "Khufu!" Nightingale was up in an instant, practically bouncing with energy. She loped over and hopped up around him for a friendly hug. "What are you doing here?" Khufu pried her off gently, looking a little stern. "Your father sent me. You're urgently needed back at the castle." He looked between them. "Zeke, you've been called for as well." Zeke and Nightingale exchanged a worried look. Khufu ignored their exchange. "You're the new knight, right?" Khufu had to look up a little to meet Rook's eyes. "You too." "Oh, you guys are so screwed," Remi drawled with a worried tone. "I bet they found out what happened last night." Khufu turned, facing Remi with obvious confusion. "What? What do you mean? What happened?" Remi looked away, one of her wings twitching. Never mind. In either case, I'm not royalty and I'm not Nightingale's knight. I'm sure your family won't want me to tag along." Nightingale bit her lip, considering. It probably wasn't a good idea to antagonize her father after being summoned for discipline. She darted over, hugging Remi briefly. "I don't care." She was smiling at Remi now. "Please come with us. Forget what my father wants. I want you there." "Oh, okay." It was hard to tell if Remi looked nervous or relieved. "It's not like I've got anywhere else to be, now that we've graduated and all." "The sooner we leave, the better." Khufu glanced back at the hallway he came from. He looked a little worried now. "King Balthazar didn't say what this was about. He only said that I had to fly here as fast as I could." "I've got a pretty good idea what it's about," Nightingale groaned, running one hand through her unruly hair. So much for having enough time to get ready. "Let's just go. Waiting for him to get even angrier isn't going to make it any better."
Alright, the
Arson
Arson
Castle.
Castle.
Arson Castle was just on the outskirts of the city, a lone monolith in the center of the city's mysterious lake. As they crossed the imposing bridge, there was only a trickle of those with official business coming and going. Remi realized how different it looked up close and in the light of day. She looked over at Rook, who seemed just as awestruck as she felt. "I guess I'm gonna have to get used to coming here," Rook muttered, staring off at the distant castle. Remi followed his eyes and found herself suddenly shivering. There was something about the castle, something she hadn't noticed before. Maybe it was the proportions. Most of the windows looked too large from this distance. The front doors might be massive and intimidating, but they were also directly in proportion with everything else. As they continued to cross the bridge, she refused to look over the side into the swirling water far below. Something was swimming around down there, always circling, always waiting. "You and me both." Nightingale looked uncomfortable. "You can tell it wasn't built by humans. They did their best to make it livable, but you can still tell." "It was originally a fortress, not a castle," Rook nodded. "It was in the middle of a lake. I bet tearing it apart and rebuilding it was pretty expensive," Zeke said, flicking the charred butt of a cigarette over the edge of the bridge and down into the moat. "Let me do the talking," Nightingale said, her voice flat. "What we got into was my fault. You tried to stop me, Rook, and the rest of you were against it too. My father can think whatever he damn well wants to about me, but I don't want this hurting you guys." "If you say so," Rook said. Despite his words, Remi didn't think Rook was even going to consider Nightingale's instructions. They moved quickly up to the doors, where a pair of armed soldiers waited. Servants ushered them in, muttering deferentially to Nightingale and Zeke and not asking about the others. They were quickly brought into the throne room, where a meeting was already in session. The king and queen sat on their thrones, backs straight and expressions mask-like. Balthazar looked even more tense than he'd been at the party, and Kezia had bags under her eyes. They weren't alone either. Nightingale's brother and sister were there, along with Zeke's uncle Yoon and his mother Ida. With the way he behaved last night, Remy never would have thought Yoon would be at a royal gathering. "How considerate of my little sister to grace us with her presence," Yol muttered, just loud enough for them to hear as they approached the thrones. "We've only been waiting, what, an hour?" Balthazar did not reply. Instead he rose, clearing his throat. "Welcome back, daughter," he nodded respectfully to Zeke. "I'm relieved you made it also. This information concerns your family as well as ours." The king hardly seemed to see Rook standing there, though at least there was nothing judgmental in Balthazar's expression. For Remy, there was only confusion and a little annoyance on his face. Nightingale seemed to have noticed too, because she reached back, resting one arm on Remy's shoulder. Remy could see Nightingale's body tense under her father's gaze. Balthazar looked as though he were going to say something about Remy's presence. Then he sighed and sat back down. "There is little time, rulers and guardians of Alinea. Kezia and I should already be on the road. We cannot waste time with the formalities I would prefer." Ida cleared her throat, though she didn't rise from her seat. "Your memorial hunt. I could never forget that day." Her voice was more than a little strained. Balthazar bowed his head slightly in Kezia's direction. "I will bring the most glorious trophy yet in Lo's memory, Lady Ida. You have my word." She sighed. "I'm sure he would have been flattered." "Unfortunately, this year's hunt has come at an inopportune time," Balthazar continued. He looked to Kezia, seating himself again on the throne. He sat back down and Kezia rose. The queen was every bit Balthazar's match for confidence, her voice clear and loud in the mostly empty throne room. "You are all aware of the growing tension between Alinea and our nearest neighbor, the Empire of Brahma." "Not really," Nightingale interrupted. "I know they've hated us since Alinea was founded, but I don't know why, or why it always seems to be getting worse." Kezia turned towards Nightingale, but didn't seem angry to have been interrupted. "The details would take time we don't have to explain. Suffice it to say that Brahma has always claimed Alinea as its territory, but never used it. When we declared our independence, they failed to recognize us as a state." Yol spoke up from his chair. "Brahma is larger and more powerful than Alinea. The best intelligence we have suggests their soldiers outnumber ours 10-1. They have their own version of the Demiurge too, a cabal of sorcerers and mercenaries called the Grim Deacons. The initiation rites alone would leave you scared." "That's enough," Kezia interrupted. "The peace envoy will be arriving within the month. Yol will conduct the negotiations and attempt to alleviate tensions before they escalate things." "The peace envoy will be arriving within the month. Yol will conduct the negotiations and attempt to alleviate tensions before they escalate things."
Okay.
"Yol? Why Yol?"
Repeated.
Ida Zhang's voice was a matter of fact. Her arms folded. "Take this as no slight to your son, but Yol is incapable of handling such delicate matters. He's hot-headed." Yol simply nodded at the remark, unfazed by the comment. Kezia threw her a sideways look. "Ida, I have no choice. I have confidence that he'll do fine. His work at delegating peace in Fair Edge has been commendable." "You mean Shayless's work in Fair Edge," Ida said, glancing sideways towards Nightingale's sister. Shayless stood. "Yol and Nalia have proven themselves more than capable at diplomacy. If it wasn't for them, I might be on the gallows in Fair Edge right now." "Speaking of Nalia, where is she?" Ida tapped her fingers rhythmically on the chair she sat in. "My wife has left to Fair Edge. The Wolfric family has requested her presence as a formality. We're playing along," Yol said calmly. Ida relaxed a little. "Kezia, it should be you who delegates the peace envoy. You could sell a king his own castle. If you're not going to be here, that must mean you're leaving to the west." "Unfortunately, yes," Kezia said with a look at Ida. Remy's friends looked as confused as she felt. Remy looked between the two noble ladies, trying to read whatever silent conversation had passed between them. "We don't have high hopes for the negotiations. Brahma knows they have us outmatched. We're afraid they may have come to offer terms we can't accept. I will not be attending the negotiations because I will be visiting some of our closest allies to secure military aid against the invasion we believe may be inevitable." Kezia will travel back to her parents' house in the far west. The Lucero family will aid us if the worst were to transpire, Balthazar said. I expect the rest of my family to be in attendance when the Romanian delegation arrives. He turned, glancing to the little cluster of chairs the Zhangs had pulled together. And as many of yours as can be available, Lady Ida. My son has Alenia's best interest at heart, but lacks the wisdom that comes of experience. Balthazar rose to his feet again, resting one hand on the hilt of the sword at his waist. Should Yol be killed, the succession will pass to Shalis, then to you, Nightingale. May there be no need. Why am I here? Nightingale asked, and Balthazar paused. We keep our business private, he said. But you've graduated. You're part of the family now, Nightingale. That means you're part of our meetings from now on, too. Did you think politics was all about running our city? Prepare yourself, daughter. We fought for our kingdom, and we'll likely be fighting to keep it. He turned, offering his hand to Kezia. She took it, rose, and glared down at them. I expect all of you to be on your best behavior while we're gone. Nightingale nodded and watched as a retinue of soldiers followed closely behind her parents as they left the room. Remi found herself out in the courtyard of the castle. Together the group watched from a balcony as King Balthazar departed in an extravagant carriage. Zeke was smoking again, though he looked a little uneasy. Sometimes I wonder if going through the advancement made all of us lose our minds. Nobody realizes because we're all just as crazy. He looked away. Lo was my dad, but if it were me, I'd still put the memorial hunt on hold if it seemed like my kingdom was going to be invaded, you know? Must be an important hunt, Rook muttered. I'm not going to assume they don't know what they're doing. I guess there is more to it. I don't care what nefarious things my dad does on his lame hunt. I don't want to think about politics or war or any of that. We need to be more positive. Nightingale waved at the retreating carriage. Zeke raised an eyebrow. More positive? Like, how if everyone dies, you become queen? What? Nightingale put a hand on her hip. No, you dolt. I mean that my dad is gone. She still looked pale, yet some of her original energy seemed to be bubbling back. We graduated yesterday. We're full citizens of Middara. There's a whole world full of adventure out there, and the only one who might stop us is riding off in that carriage. Zeke nodded. I've meant to get out into Alenia proper. What's the point of being able to leave the Institute if we spend all our time at home? My family left me with some cash as a graduation present. Mine did too. Nightingale seemed to be getting more excited by the moment. I bet if we pulled it, we could have enough for new gear for all of us. Alenia's always been a hub for adventures. I bet we'll find some great stuff. Nightingale and Zeke pulled out small pouches and began counting how much gold they had. Nightingale's excitement was infectious.
I'll read this in a
Even
minute.
Rook's mind started turning. She seemed rather determined to get herself into danger on a regular basis. Some new gear might be just what he needed to be a better knight. Could be fun, he agreed. And when we're done? Nightingale hardly even seemed to hear him. We'll have everything we need to finish exploring the vaults. They all stared. It took a moment to realize what she was suggesting. Are you sure that's a good idea? I mean, Zeke said through a billow of smoke. We got the whole monster mash after us last time. Hographer probably hasn't forgotten about us. Rook cleared his throat. I admit I was curious last time, but we've seen it now. It's out of our league. Psst! Nightingale waved a dismissive hand, her tail swishing about behind her. We were just unprepared the first time. Think about it. Now that we know Hographer is down there, we can be much more careful. I haven't been able to stop thinking about what was on that pedestal. Whatever it was has to be epic. I mean, some real purple color loot. I'm down. Remi's voice was so quiet it was almost a squeak. They all turned, Rook frowning. She cleared her throat, then continued. I mean, we'll have better gear. It's not like we couldn't get away from Hographer last time. Yeah! Nightingale embraced Remi, wrapping one arm around her shoulder. Rimdog gets it! Zeke extinguished his cigarette along the railing, flicking the butt over the side. It's a stupid idea, but I guess I'm down. After we spend some time in the city first. Yeah, buddy! Nightingale yelled as she slapped Zeke on the back. Then she turned to Rook. You don't have to come, she began. I know my father made you a knight, but I'm coming. Rook didn't wait for her to finish. We'll probably need Suri's help again to find our way around. And you wouldn't have her help without me there. That's more like it, Nightingale's grin returned. But first, let's go shopping.
Okay. Continue to story round the city of Alenia, page 47. Before we do that, does it tell me what my shopping rules are at the moment? I don't know. I think we can take a little breather from this. Let's do a few things. Well, we got pictures. Most of these pictures were just of the this parasite that is now inside. We got Hogwarts, some demon monster, some poor sap got fucking wrecked, and we have this dude. This is Yoel Arsene. When was Yoel mentioned actually? All through that. There's a lot of information that was coming up. I forget when he was mentioned, but this is his castle, Arsene Castle, and then this is the other Zeke sister, Ida, the pirate, the privateer or something, who's doing stuff, or maybe I forget. Oh, he's Yoel. So got some new players. Anyway, reward. The party gains the following bonus depending on how much XP the adventurers have earned, including XP they've spent. Alright, so if we had 4 XP, I'm confused. What do they mean XP they spent? We get 100 gold. 5 XP, 7 gold. 7D, 6 you get 40, and 7 plus XP you get 10. So you get less and less gold the more XP you have. I guess it's harder and harder. This is so unclear. What am I comparing it to? The XP from the past 3 encounters? Wouldn't that be 3 XP plus what I've spent would be 6, right? So we get 40. Well, no, so like I'm confused because everybody has spent 3, so we've spent 12 experience points, which means it would be impossible to not have 7 plus XP. I am very confused by what this is telling me. Party gains the following bonus depending on how much XP the adventurers have earned, including XP they've spent. Earned from what though? Because I've earned we all had 5 at first, and now we're currently at 4. Is it like this? Like currently we're at 4, so if you saved XP and didn't spend it, you get worse. Do I get 100 gold? I'm so confused. I want some gold amount for the. You know what? Let's go to Google. Let me get some music going. Got to look stuff up when you don't know what the hell is going on. Middara, what is the name of this? The Arson Castle. Gold gains. Minor, clarified. The Arson Castle. Again, the page on the Middara official forums is like non-existent. Okay, hold up. Arson Castle. When determining rewards and words in Arson Castle, you get gold based upon XP earned. The reward gets worse if you have gained more XP. Is this an attempt to make it so difficult it doesn't run away and each encounter is a challenge? Seems odd to penalize the party for doing well and reward them for doing poorly. Same goes for doing the math. That doesn't answer how I calculate this. In the math, it was corrected in the errata. I'm not sure about the other scenario in question. You need less help doing great, and also your rewards during the encounter are better when you are overperforming. It's the way the game tries to keep balance. I understand that. They corrected this. Their intention was not to penalize the party for doing well. They do, however, want to help parties that are struggling. XP brings more disciplines, and if you have more than likely you've killed more monsters and have more loot, so you're not as bad off. Alright, so I understand. They want me to get less gold. I get that, but I don't know how to read this thing. Do I just get 10 gold? I think I get 10 gold, guys. A higher score would result. Like, that's fine. Can we get a better translation for this? Hold on a sec. Oh. Yeah. I don't know if this will answer my question, but perhaps I can do Spark Notes. Let me look at the Spark Notes. So, Arsene Castle. I doubt this answers it, because this is just gonna... Arsene Castle. So, yeah, stuff happened. A reward. Pull out small patches and began counting how much gold they have to share with everyone. Oh, see, that doesn't help. Damn it. I assume the way this is calculated is we all gained 1 XP, right? So that would be 4, because people didn't die. Well, even if people die, everyone who partakes... Let's run this back. I'm trying to translate this, because this is not intuitively written. There are so many beautiful English words you could use to, actually write this down. This is the gauntlet, a little too far. Okay, so we did this, and we gained 1, right? Each gained 1, so that's 4. And then we did this, so each gained 1, that's 8. And then we got, the last one, so we gained 12. Plus what we have spent, though, which is the thing that's confusing me. Including XP we spent. So that's 15, 18, 21, 24. So did we do 7 plus? Like, yeah, obviously we did 7 plus. We have 24 experience spent. Is that correct? Am I correct? I'm gonna give myself 10 gold. I assume they want us to get 10. We also get 52, so we're getting 62 gold. Our poor characters' pouches are paltry. Which I don't mind. 62 on top of 51. We have a handful of gold to spend. I don't know how to math. This is a 3. This is it's 113. So we have 113 gold to spend. Now my next question. Continue to story around the city of Alenia, page 47. Okay, good. So this is where we're at. Tip buying the right gear. Let's look at the tip. We can look at this picture. Looking Zeke here, looking at a sword. And this girl looking at this husky. That's Rook. Like, fuck Rook. Jesus Christ, man. Where's Remi in the party? We got some birds. Look at this. I really wish clicking the middle mouse button didn't do that thing. It's when you rapidly click it does weird stuff. Anyway, where's bird? Look at this soulless face in the back. Look at this damn dog sign. Anyway, just for me to review, we've got we're on the verge of actual war in a dungeon crawler, so there's some political intrigue going on. But we don't know why. And then we have a giant monster underneath the city, and it's not even that far under the city. We were dungeon crawling for not very long. Anyway. Anytime we're instructed to go to a story round, we go through all the steps listed on the story round. During story rounds, we can buy new items, spend XP to learn new disciplines, and embark on side quests. Each time players initiate a story round for the first time, a new unique item will be for sale, so if you can't afford it now, you can always come back later when you return with more gold from a side quest. Monsters in Middara can be difficult to kill. For this reason, we recommend prioritizing new weapons over other gear in most cases. If players cannot afford new weapons, it is recommended to embark on the side quest to earn the gold required to purchase new weapons. So, new weapons. Developers are saying it's a weapon meta. Buy weapons for better dice. Okay, shop and train. This is where we're at right now. All mundane items, all accessories, all upgrades we have unlocked, and one random mundane unique item that is tied to the store, the city of Alenia. I'm actually going to tag it in the description. So the city of Alenia has the sword. The Sword of Dominions, $40. Sword, short sword, light. One-handed, white dice. Exhaust, move diagonally. Combos with another sword. Exhaust, reroll one of your combat dice. Finesse, orange. And when you defeat an opponent during your turn, an ally within SOI heals 3. This is a long sword on crack. Basically a longsword combined with a short sword, from what I can tell. So this is available, and then all the mundane stuff is available to me. So I'm just gonna leave that there. Let me bring this over here. I'm gonna name it so I don't forget. The City of Alenia. Unique item. I may end up buying this just to have it. I'll probably buy a sword to go with it, because now dual sword seems interesting, even though we're not really built to do that. That's a pretty strong sword. The pike is okay, I do like the reach. The provoke thing, I still need to play with it to see how useful it is. The problem with this provoke is... 1, a water Loa is elusive. 2, the way I'm playing, because you guys have seen what I do. I try to get as much advantage as I can. The AI either doesn't move, or whenever they move, they prevent a break attack. So naturally, based on the game, this is good against a Gavaldan, maybe okay against a Gavaldan, and sickles die instantly. You don't really get a chance to do this effect unless they charge Zeke, and since Zeke is not the tank, they're not walking near his range. So I might try dual sword, maybe. Do have 113 bucks. We all have 4 XP. Here's where I have to make a huge decision. To buy a second level 1, it costs 4. It's 3 plus, however many previous you have. I'm definitely probably going to buy another spell on some people. Or I save my experience up so I can get a 5 later for others. I'm going to have to see what's available. I know I'm definitely going to buy something for Remi. How long have we been going? This is about 2 hours. You guys can tune in. We'll do shopping, and then I'll call that a video session. We can also explore as a group. Choose one of the following, and then proceed to its listed page. You may not choose a side quest you've already attempted this adventure. If you have no side quest, you can choose, or... if you decide you don't want to explore side quests, continue to venture forth. So we have Loa problems, page 48. They recommend playing that one first, and then we have Cave Sickle Extermination. We can attempt a bounty, see page 13 of the rulebook. And tip, Unintentional Malum Act 1 only comes with a single bounty. with a single 2-skull bounty, which is the difficulty. Alright, let's go look. I believe we can do one of each of these things, the side quest or bounty, but I'm not sure. So let's go to page 13 of the rulebook. Obviously I'm going to buy before I do this, but let's read up on it. Many story rounds include the special bounty side quest. The bounty is a set of encounters that can be attempted during the explore phase of a story round. Only one bounty may be attempted each named story round, meaning that if you own more than one bounty, you still can't attempt more than one during a story round. Story rounds will specify the bounty that can be attempted based on its difficulty rating. Players may not attempt a bounty with a higher difficulty rating than the story round allows. Each bounty has a rating and let us know what to face. Once a bounty has been completed, adventurers may never attempt it during that adventure again. If a bounty is lost, players may try to complete it again during the next named story round. Adventurers do keep rewards gained from a failed bounty. Wait, I'm a little confused. Alright, and the side quest thing. Each side quest can only be attempted once. When completed, most side quests will return players back to the story round and allow them to go through all the phases once again. Once players have attempted all the side quests, or to choose not to accept side quests, go to the next phase. Obviously, we're doing all that. Okay, the bounty is a special type of side quest that can only be attempted once. But these can only be attempted once. Once in each named story round they appear in. Okay, confused. We'll learn. We'll figure it out. So, what is the bounty? Side quest, side quest. I don't want to spoil anything. What is the bounty? Oh! We don't have a bounty yet. I think that's what this is saying. Later on in the game, I'll be given a bounty, and during this part of the game, I could probably go do it, but I don't have it yet, so there's no bounty to do. So we have 2 side quests, I think, and shopping. Alright, let me do one thing at a time. We're gonna pull out the cards and spend experience. Then we're gonna spend money. Also, since we're in town, I have access to these, so I can give them to people. So I'm just gonna leave them here while I sort stuff. Also, now I'm thinking about consumables. Did I give myself a mundane for the 3rd and final encounter? I think I did. I forget. I'm gonna look over my video, and if I did not, I will get back to that. We all have 4 XP. The first thing I want to do is look at these, because I think we're gonna buy another one of these. And the one we want, the one that I want, we have Mend. We have Guardian Angel here as an option, which is once per encounter you get to heal yourself half your max. Courage Stifle, an insane spell, honestly. You deal damage equal to 2 times your total armor value. So like, right now, that's 6, and you could make it 10 if you have 5 armor, which you can get very easily. You can actually probably get 6 armor. Single combat die of your choice that is printed on an equipped shield or blunt weapon is considered a spellcasting upgrade as well. So, Courage Stifle is crazy, and honestly would give my tank a damage option. Magic Armor is one I'm thinking about. So this gives us Barrier, which gives people a defense. And this one, Intervention. An ally within your sphere of influence gains an Intervention token. Intervention is... I forget what that does. Intervention... If you roll all dice you just rolled. Alright, so that one, I mean, that's definitely good, but... I don't know if it's as good as having a permanent armor that... Honestly, you would keep the Loas busy. Well, they can remove an act, so... Nirvana's Mark is 2 HP and you heal 1 every turn, also good. Aspect is an extra movement. I don't know what it says, or I don't know what it means when it says movement point is not increased by terrain or allies. Maybe... Oh, I think... Huh. If movement point is not increased by difficult terrain, does it mean once you get this, you ignore terrain penalties? I don't know, actually. I didn't really pay attention. Alright, before I jump on that, see, here's where we're going to be thinking for a while. I haven't looked at any level 2 things yet, but I may want to start doing that. I also don't have any subterfuge stuff. The Animus. Alright, I'm gonna look at this. What is a level 2 Animus? So you guys are gonna see this with me. I'm gonna see these for the first time. And BFF. Anytime when making an attack, you or loyal Esper you've summoned gains the following. Or a Starburst follow-up. Move 3 spaces without provoking break attacks and make an attack against a different target. This is after a successful attack. You can just go move and attack someone else. Why is it called BFF? Possession. A loyal Esper within Sphere of Influence makes a ranged or melee attack. Or you may spend 1 SP and another ally within Sphere of Influence makes a ranged or melee attack instead. And Exhaust. Conduit Summoning. Anytime an opponent is defeated within SOI, earn their Conduit card. 1 SP. At any time, replace your Adventure card with a Conduit that you have earned, or replace your current Conduit with your Adventure card. Okay. Conduit is another kind of complicated, but I think I get it, mechanic. This is shape-shifting. Think Druid shape-shifting. But it seems like you have to earn the card by killing something. Conduit cards are in their own bag on the right side. We haven't seen any yet. Anyway, fortune telling. After a figure within your SOI has rolled for any reason, choose the result of a single die once per encounter. That's pretty good. Ruination. Spell 6 against up to 2 different opponents within SOI. Reduce the SP cost of this discipline by 1 if all targets have an effect. I guess that means positive or negative. Roll your casting die. Deal magic damage equal to the result. Okay. Green has some fucking nasty spells. This is what I want. Summoning. Summon a loyal Esper within your SOI. The Esper's level may not exceed your highest level assemblage discipline. Then gain summon tokens equal to your highest level assemblage discipline. I think I'm gonna save up to do this because I want to summon as soon as I can. An imposed paradigm. Paradigm. Cast a spell 6. Swap places with the target. Makes me think of the Gloomhaven character class ability for one of the classes. I guess I shouldn't spoil that. Alright. How about Kuar spells? I would love a second spell on my girl. Root the Mind. Cast a spell 6. Your target is inflicted with Paralyze, so exhaust to Paralyze. Only works once on each enemy. But very good. Soul Steal. At the start of your turn, you and an ally within SOI may redistribute any damage tokens you have between each other. Oh, I can pass my damage off to someone who passively heals it. And then Exhaust, cast a spell 6, deal magic damage equal to half your total damage. Oh my! I can play very risky. Imagine me doing this spell 3 times over. I need a good casting die. Deal yourself 2 irreducible damage and gain 2 SP. That's really good. Bring the shadows. Make a move. During this movement, you do not provoke break attacks, and you may move through opponents with no penalty. Alright, hold up. Make a move. During this movement, you don't get broke attacked, and you can move through people. You may not increase this movement with SP. Then cast a spell 6 against each figure moved through, ignoring SOI and line of sight. Roll your casting die, deal magic damage equal to the result, and inflict darkness. Alright, so if they fail a spell, you walk through things, they get hit with a spell 6. If they fail it, you roll your casting die and hurt them and darkness them. That's cool. Cast a spell 6, roll one of your target's conviction dice, deal magic damage equal to the result. Oh, roll one of your target's conviction dice, what the fuck? You may deal yourself 2 irreducible damage to deal additional magic damage equal to 2 times your highest level crew or discipline. Ah, this is organic liquefy. This is like corrosive, not corrosive ideal. This is the other spell that I have. Gore shot on upgraded. Blood Pact. When making an attack, you may deal yourself irreducible damage up to your remaining HP to add the same amount of physical damage to your attack. So you can commit suicide if you want. Okay. That's kind of insane. When you hit with an attack, gain a Val token. What is a Val token? Val, when you deal damage, deal +2 damage of the same type, limit 5. Those sound lovely. Alright. I'm gonna try to go through these because I need to test my options. The game has so many options. I need to know what I'm saving up for. Gigas Grip passive. It does not work with ranged weapons, but does work with melee ranged weapons. You may equip 2-handed weapons as if they were one-handed, but they still count as 2-handed weapons. When attacking, choose the symbols, upgrades, and combat dice on one of your equipped weapons. Okay, so you can carry two-handed weapons, but you can only attack with all the stats of one of them, including symbol spending and stuff. So it gives you some variety. That's interesting. I like that. Cool. Blood Rage. When you have damage equal to at least half your maximum HP, gain an additional SP during your stamina point recovery phase. So if you're half dead, you gain this extra stamina. I'm sorry, that took me a while to process. Exhaust before rolling for an attack, gain plus X to the attack roll, where X equals the amount of times you've attacked the target this turn. Seems bad at first glance. Like, okay, adding to the attack roll is godlike. That's a desired ability. The only thing is this only adds like 1 if you attack twice, and then 2 if you attack thrice, and I don't think I've ever attacked more than 3 times. I'm sure later in the game this would be pretty good, but early on, it's really hard to abuse. It's well balanced, from the sounds of it. Physically perfected. Gain plus X health, where X is equal to your highest level martial discipline, so it would be 2. Exhaust. To follow up, gain plus 1 SP. I'm always confused when it says exhaust starburst follow up. Does that mean you had to have rolled a starburst in your attack? I believe it does. Because you have to spend the starburst to do the follow up, and you have to exhaust this card, so I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So gaining an SP after attacking anytime you roll a starburst, that's pretty insane. And it's just a health boost that scales. Exhaust. When determining damage, roll the opponent's casting die and add the number rolled as physical damage to this attack. Mage Breaker. Alright, Onslaught, 3 SP. Make a physical attack. This attack gains follow-up, make a attack. The above follow-up attack also gains. So it's a Cicala, or whatever, the bug thing. Whirlwind. Take a separate attack against each figure currently adjacent to you. If your equipped weapon has reach, you may spend 1 additional SP to attack all figures currently within the reach of the weapons instead. So 3 mana to attack everything. Could be cool. Those are level 2s. Not super like, oh, I want a level 2 as soon as I can. So my person who has martial arts now. Right, I don't have to keep getting martial arts, but what let me go through these again. So Hammer Helm. Blade Works is 2 one-handed weapons, we don't have that. Exhaust is the counter, free counter. Passive, and making a dodge, gain 2 books, add +1 to your dodge. Anticipated attack. Chains of Command. Exhaust, and when making a attack, this attack gains reach 2. So this is kind of like permanent reach 2, at least early on when you're only doing 1 or 2 attacks. Follow up, Command 3. Force X plus difference hit, where X equals 6 plus the level of your highest martial discipline skill. So it's force like 7 plus difference hit, And Command 3, I've looked up Command 3 before. It's a weird thing. It's kind of like mind control. You force an enemy to move. So chains of command, I assume you're gripping them in chains and forcefully moving them. And you can just walk them off a cliff. It is pretty good. But you have to roll a starburst in order to have that power. Critical defense. At the start of every encounter, gain 1 dodge token, and your attacks gain follow-up, gain a dodge token every time you roll a starburst. That is cool. Critical defense. Living bulwark. At any time, gain resistance physical damage until the end of your next turn. In addition, you may counter for free until the end of your next turn. What to pick up for people? Alright, let's look at the level 2 of these. Paradigm Assault. Exhaust. When you hit with an attack, an ally within SOI gains haste, barrier, or courage. Let me say, before I continue, if you guys don't want to watch me build my characters, I'll record it for the process. We're going to end as soon as I'm done. Feel free to turn this off. I'll see you guys next time, Middara, but I'm going to continue doing this until I come to a decision. This is stupid good. From the grave, place a defeated ally within SOI, then they heal equal to half their maximum HP once per encounter. There is a revive spell. Once per encounter, revive. Yeah, that's good. Ascension. You may spend intervention tokens as if they were SP. Increase the amount of intervention tokens you can have by +1. Exhaust. Make a move. You have flight for the duration of this move. Man, anyone can get this at 5+ experience, so everybody can just fucking fly. Let me double check the rules of I think in order to get a level 2 you have to have a level 1. And then, you know, in order to get a 3 you have to have a level 2, the same thing, but I don't recall. Where are the disciplines? 34 and 61 is the chart. Require at least 1 from each lower level of the same tree to learn. Okay. Soul clear. Exhaust. Remove an effect from a figure within SOI. Useful. Reduce the SP cost of this discipline by 1. It targets someone other than yourself. So it's 1 to cure. Fervor. Deal magic damage equal to your total armor value. Heal an ally with an SOI equal to half the amount of damage the spell dealt. Target of the heal is already at full HP. They gain barrier instead. What are these spells? They're crazy. They sound cool. At the start of an encounter, pick a negative effect and place its token on this card. For the duration of this encounter, you're immune to this effect. That's good. An ally within SOI gains courage. That's good. First time each round, another ally with courage deals damage, gain 1 SP. Yeah, that's really good. I do want like more. I want more supportive things for her to do as their support tank. I know exactly what spell I want her to do. I think it's in here actually. Not a familiar, not last laugh. Not sanctuary. Not forebode, not banish knowledge. No. It is banish knowledge. An ally of an SOI gains haste. Yes. I am going to pay for banished knowledge. So we can tank like I want to and spend my SP on hasting my friends. Because haste in this game is really good. You gain an SP during your status step. So we're gonna pay 4 of Remi's experience for this anima spell. So she can be a support tank. So now we can heal and we can pass out haste. That is happening. I'm gonna save to summon for him because that's what I want to do. We're gonna find a spell for her to cast and spam, just like core shot. Something that's free, hopefully, because I am definitely using all of my SP up. I haven't really gone. Let me see what the 2 of these are. No one has subterfuge yet, but doesn't mean I won't jump into it immediately. Friend over foe. Exhaust dodge. Exhaust. Another ally may make a melee ranged attack against an opponent you attack this turn. Okay. Close quarters combat. Exhaust. When making an attack with 2 one-handed ranged weapons, the attack gains +4 physical damage. My character with my friend is gonna love this because I'm doing dual hand crossbow, one hand bows like crossbow guns. This is fucking insane looking. +4 physical damage, attacks made at range 1, +3 at range 2, +2 at range 3, and +1 at range 4. And follow up, move up to 2 spaces. This movement does not break attacks. I definitely want that. Overwatch. At any time, gain provoke X until the end of turn. Where X equals one of your equipped weapons range. If you have a ranged weapon equipped, this break attack may be provoked by figures with flight. Oh fuck, does flight not provoke break attacks? Because then I can do more shenanigans with the Remi. Oh, so I get. So, like, if I was flying by, I would not provoke a break attack. Yeah, that means I can just go in places safely. I only get broke attacked if I started next to an enemy. That's a game changer. I did not pay attention to that. That should get answered. Alright, anyway. Thanks, Overwatch, for enlightening me. Down the masses, exhaust makes up to 2 range attacks against different targets. Man, I didn't realize subterfuge is kind of heavy in range support. Once per encounter when you are the target of an attack. Shame of the otaku. What the fuck? After determining if the attack hit, but before determining damage, the attack misses. Then warp to any unoccupied space within SOI encounter. This is... What's it? Nothing personnel, kid? The card? False idol. Exhaust. Make a melee attack. I mean, free melee attack every single turn. It's really good. When making an attack, this attack cannot be dodged or countered. Blade distortion. Not bad, not bad. Need a reminder at the level 1s. So we have subterfuge. Well, speed and justice. Dodge. You can reroll this dodge roll. Murder Circus, you get to throw X, where X equals your highest level. Subterfuge, Discipline. You have a 2-handed ranged weapon equipped. We're not doing two-handed rage weapons currently. Hold on a sec. Follow through. When determining damage, you may spend SP. For each SP spent, add 2 physical damage to your attack and exhaust when making an attack. If you have 2 light weapons equipped while flanking, this attack ignores armor. Well, if I'm about to go dual sword, subterfuge is temptatious. Because I'm about to go dual sword this relic weapon that is available. I am definitely about to go dual swords. Follow through. Yeah, but I'm not buying anything on him. He's going straight down that tree. I wanna summon the biggest fuckers. Alright, I'm looking for a spell, so let me go through this a little faster. Oh yeah, quick blow is pretty good. I use that on my character in my game with the friend. What other spells do we have? First turn, each you get a Val token when you get 2 damage. Single source. I'm trying not to get hurt with my mage. Inflict disease. When making an attack, this attack gains +2 physical damage and follow up inflict darkness with the means of triggering that. Opponent within your SOI is dealt magic damage equal to your highest level core discipline. Alright, this is tempting simply because it's 100% guaranteed damage. And I can repeat it 3 times if I need to eke out a killing blow, but I don't think it's so good that it's necessary for me to like get it right now. Target is inflicted with wilt. Target is inflicted with poison. Poison is stupid nice. There's nothing here that boosts your casting die. Alright, there is this, so I could pick up the... I have this in my friend's game. Euthanasia. You inflict wilt and deal 6 magic damage. Then, if the target was already inflicted with wilt, you inflict condemn. And if they were already inflicted with both condemn and wilt, roll the black cube. If a skull is rolled, the target is destroyed. The thing about this is, if I repeat this spell, it costs 2 SP. I can repeat this spell twice for free. And that's like a potential 18 magic damage I'm just blowing at the enemy. The thing is, it costs 2 SP. I would like a spell that doesn't cost SP. I think some kind of debuff would be really useful. Or I could get me a familiar as well. Yuxa would heal me every time I do damage of any type. This turns my Cror spell into basically a fucking Sim Earth music. I recognize this. Yep. This turns my Cror into like a 4 damage for 1 life instead of 2. Alternatively, what the other red spells, they were like condemn, disease, or wilt. Okay, wilt is really good. And then poison. Poison's also stupid good. Like, I could poison something. It's a tough call what direction I want to go. I like the idea of the familiar healing me. Like, just having that passive heal, and we'll always have that familiar, is a big deal. And in the future, if I am buying... There's another spell in here. It's the thing where if you get hurt, yeah, last laugh. When you or loyal Esper is dealt damage by an opponent, you may deal the source of that damage. 2 irreducible damage. Okay, I can't combine this with self-inflicting pain because then I'm killing myself harder. Never mind, we don't want to combine it with last laugh. I think a debuff is more warranted than healing and then healing. And poison, in my opinion, is very powerful, but wilt is also pretty good. And if I fail to inflict it, I get multiple chances to inflict it. So I'm actually going to go the poison route. I'm going to get corrosive deal. That's 4 of Nightingale's XP. I already subtracted remi. There we go. So those 2 spent. Rook. Rook really just wants more SP and more attacks. So, how do I get more attacks? The dodge token could be cool. Free counter. I already have Hammer Helm. None of these work with like a two-handed melee weapon. Yeah, there is follow through. No, I don't want that because I can't use the second part of that. I could have like the shadows for the movement. 2 free spaces, and free movement is always unaffected by terrain. That gets me to keep up with my opponents, that gets me more attacks. So I don't spend SP on moving once we're in the thick of battle. Okay, so quick blow gives me a follow-up attack for free. But it happens once. This is actually really good too. I think quick blow. We're gonna get quick blow. During the follow-up step of your attack, other than your attack made with quick blow, make another ranged or melee attack. You may choose a new target for this attack. I want him to be like a berserker, so this will definitely help him be like a berserker. Alright, so that's how I'm spending my XP. Zeke's gonna hold his. And Rook is gonna have, or everyone else will spend theirs, so we can get more SP. divvied out. And we can get poison casted, and now I can get more attacks with my guy. So the next thing that I want to do, I have 113 gold to spend. I'm very tempted to get a dual sword and buy this $40 weapon for Zeke. His combos with the sword, yeah. So our options are a longsword, one-handed version, which also combos, so I would have 2 orange dice. The fact that I have another sword, this is a short sword, means my attacks gain +1 physical damage for free. Unfortunately, it's not comboing with a longsword, so my starburst will still be only for 1 instead of 2, but that is quite alright. It seems really good to me for a power boost to switch to swords right now. Since we have the opportunity. And then short sword, we get an extra diagonal space move. And this lets me reroll a combat dice. I think I want to greed for the damage over the reroll. I mean, this would be an orange-white, which is really good. Orange-white with a reroll, or 2 oranges. I'm already rolling 2 white without reroll. We're doing okay. My odds of poisoning are going to increase, so we're going to do this. I'm going to pay 58 gold. Let me get my calculator out just because it'd be faster for my dumbass self. Well, we have 113 minus 58, that's 55. 55 gold left. 55 gold. We will buy the unique item at this store. The store is never gonna have another unique item. I kind of wish there was some check mark way. I feel like there should be a second page of the adventure sheet that lists the shop towns, even though it would be kind of spoilery, and you can check if you bought the unique item there or not. Because I did edit this description, but, you know, it takes like forever for that to pop up. It actually doesn't pop up unless it's in the name. But I don't want to change this stuff in case, you know, it breaks scripts. And the question is, do I keep the halberd in case I want someone to switch to the halberd? I'm having a good time with his hammer, even though we haven't really used its ability yet. And she's definitely not going to use it. I think I'll actually just sell the halberd. We tested it out. I do like it. I like the idea of it. The practicality is it doesn't quite fire off as often as I would want, so we'll get 15 bucks back. I think keeping it in storage for later when I'm only going to be getting better and better weapons is not intelligent. We can buy something else. So we have 70 gold now. We get half rounded up, which is just 15. It was a good test. All accessories are available. I am very much not these. Those are the unique items. I'm very much considering an adventurer's pack. And at any time you can re-equip for free. What are the other accessories available right now? Cloak, dodge, passive, protection. I forget what that does. Something against magic attacks. protection. You get a empowered roll on your magic defense. Quiver is really good for archers, but we're not archering. This thing is 4 more HP, and once per encounter, you can reroll any dice except black that you or an ally near you rolled. Increase the cost is... oh, right. Conviction upgrade X. X equals one of your equipped combat dice. Exhaust to counter. Swashbuckler's Garb. Would be really nice on this dude now that we want him to attack more often. But I kind of like the tank item on him. Oh, I'm gonna genuinely do something. We're gonna switch... oh, right, I want her to move 7. I kind of want the passive healing on her, but we'll be okay managing her health. Elsewise. We could buy some relics. Relics are not that expensive. When you make an attack in one to the range, exhaust before you make an attack. Target of this attack cannot dodge. Conviction upgrade white. And then after rolls made against you, remove all symbols from 1 die. I'm tempted to buy this for him, honestly. Get another wand of missiles. Conviction upgrade white after making a roll. Reroll any of your dice. Enchanted piercings. I only have the... oh, right, one thing I do want to do. We're gonna sell the sickle shell charm. Or not sell it. I think immunity to poison is pretty niche, and even though poison is bad, I have ways to cure it. So, I'm gonna get this back in the shop, and we're going to unlock one of the item upgrades in the game. So, let's take a look at them. And maybe I'll buy some. We have Imbued. When determining the force of a spell, I can add +1 to the roll. Honestly, I could just get that right now and put it on both her books. And then her spell casting is better. When making an attack, add +1 to the attack roll. Masterwork. Also stupid good. This is an exhaust. This is an exhaust too. Determining the force of a spell, you may spend 2 books on your casting die to gain +1 force, and your attacks gain 2 books +2 magic damage. I don't attack with my character. This would be good for someone else, though. Determining damage from an attack or dealing damage from a spell, add +2 damage of the same type. Alright, I could just go devastating. Imagine I'm firing off gore shots and it's doing like 6 damage. 8 damage gore shots. Ignore a single star blast. Gain heavy but gain 1 armor. Reduce physical damage dealt to you from a melee attack by 2. Counter. During your turn, opponents within your SOI that are inflicted with an effect have -1 to their conviction checks. Okay, this would be good too. for my spellcaster to just have. It's like if I poison, then suddenly Gore Shot does hits more often. That's actually a huge deal. But is it so huge that I would want that over like Devastating or just straight up? This is a +1 once per spell per turn. This is basically a +1 at all times if I get the poison. Starburst, follow up, heal 2. As long as another ability doesn't passively add to your SOI, increase your SOI by 1. That's really good too. And making a conviction check, add +1 to the roll. Oh yeah, right. While I'm thinking of this stuff, we can put this away. Restore the deck. Making a conviction check, re-roll the dice. +2 health, +1 movement. I mean, these things are all very, very, very good. I actually think I want to try Dark out. In the future, when other people start getting spells to add and I can pass Dark on to other things, that would be good, but it's kind of niche. Like, this just focuses purely on my magic person doing better at the moment, but it'll be permanently unlocked. We'll get more monster parts, right? That's the tough thing about this. This is niche too, though. If I'm gonna do one niche, it may as well be devastating, as I could add this to multiple people's weapons, right? I'm gonna take Dark. I like the idea of that, so... And we have 6 of these. And, I can upgrade my gear, my cores, with Dark from now on. I'm just gonna leave them out there. We have Dark unlocked. I will spend, I believe it's only 15 bucks. I don't remember where this stuff is. Item upgrades. Upgrades, item 28. Okay. Oh yeah, this should be at the back of the book, actually. Dice breakdown. So... Are these player dice and these are enemy dice? I think that's how this might work. But we have white too. I haven't seen us have teal yet. Alright, anyway, I've never looked at that dice chart before. I'm looking to see if this has a fast chart for item upgrades. Items and item upgrades. Okay, yeah, so it's 15. And item upgrades give you no extra gold when you sell them back to the store in the future, but we're gonna take one of these darks. I'm gonna spend 15 bucks. We're gonna put it on our locket for a Nightingale. So we have that going for us. I don't think anyone else needs that currently. Alright, that puts us down to, well, we're back to what we were at, right? 55. So that was my spear turned into a dark. My spirit and poison immunity. We have 55 bucks left, yes, and then some items. I'm gonna buy that Adventurers pack. We are doing a heavy loot-based build. Here's the thing though. She's the one who's got the open inventory. So that's 30. So we're at 25. Increase my pack size by 6. So I can carry 9 items in my pack. And I get free re-equips now. Which means I'm just gonna hold on to all this shit. And I can pass. Well, you can always take, you can't give. So I'm gonna need people to take from me if they need stuff. The thing doesn't even, like... You know what I'm gonna start doing, I think, for the pack, is just leave them stacked, and I'll have to search the pile. I'll keep the equipped ones out so I can glance. Alright, I don't have to be super greedy. Her being empty is good though, and him being empty would be good. I'm gonna take this too. The reason why is they generate items after encounters, so we want them to have space to put that stuff. 25 gold to spend. I think a good buy would be a conviction upgrade on Air Boy. Well, I wanted that, I just didn't want to zoom in that hard. After making a roll, I can reroll any of my dice once per encounter, or after rolls made against you, you can remove all symbols from the die. I do like Fate Engine, so we're gonna buy another one of these. We're gonna put it on our dude. And now he's not the only one who's gonna get attacked by a fucking magic attack. So that's 15, which means we have 10 bucks left. I think we're pretty much good to go. I mean, 10 bucks. I'll buy some throw knives so I can use them aggressively. Go down to 2. I like this. I like this a lot. Let's tell you what, I'll have him hold this. And he's just gonna have fucking throwing knives for the time being. Oh, that was weird. Like, went through this card. Hold up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, guys. Can you stop, like, phasing? Alright, I'm gonna do something. Since this card's acting weird, we're gonna just make a new one. There we go. Alright. We're gonna save it up here. Thank you very much for joining me for the character customization part. You can see how overwhelming options are, and we're still just working with mundane. I guess next time I'm gonna do side quests, depending on how long it is. It's only 1 page long, so this one's probably short. But I can do both. I'll probably do both, and there are no bounties available yet. For chapter 1, except later, I assume. So, yeah, do that next time. Hope you guys look forward to it. I will get rid of this, just do a little more last second cleanup, but I think we're good to go. We'll just get started right away next time for the most part. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to mention. All the buttons are backed. I figured out they appear based on your color, so when you're the Game Master, you get the Game Master buttons. Anyway, I wanted to point that out earlier, but it completely slipped my mind. Have a lovely day. Happy dungeon crawling. For those also playing Middara, or any dungeon crawler.